This is our crew, and we're here to start a vlog. So welcome. I'm Melissa.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Donnie.
I'm Randy.
And that's us. I am the wedding photographer behind Weddings by Sunnyside. I have been photographing weddings for 3 years now, and started photographing people, I think 7 years ago. I originally started with a film camera when I was a little girl, just taking pictures of people. I would have fake photo shoots with friends, and that was an embarrassing fact to share with you all. However, I love shooting weddings, and that is what I do with Weddings by Sunnyside. It's pretty amazing. I'm also a mom to a 2-year-old boy who has the best red hair you've ever seen, and yep, he pretty much runs the show. I mean, not really, but he runs my world day in and day out. He is awesome. That's me.
I am the graphic designer at Weddings by Sunnyside. I've been designing for probably about 5 years, and I too started by doing embarrassing things in high school by designing album covers for my friends in awesome bands.
Awesome.
That's cool.
And now I do custom wedding invitations and wedding suites and, day of stationery and things like that, and I totally love doing it. And I think it's really awesome that everybody has such a unique theme and vibe to their wedding days, and that's what I like to capture with the invitations is, their unique style. So that's me.
I am the videographer for Weddings by Sunnyside, and I've been filming now for close to 7 years. I started as the lead videographer for the Grateful Dead, and then it was a natural transition to start filming weddings while my sister was photographing them. So we kind of transitioned and started our own business, and here we are. I've been filming weddings now for about 3 years, and I love it. I love capturing people's stories and telling them back through film.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that much detail, but I am the DJ for Weddings by Sunnyside. I'm actually new to the team. This is my first season with them, so I'm actually really happy to be on board and to be part of the vlog here. Yeah, we can do a communal toast there.
Totally.
So I have actually been a DJ for 21 years, doing various things from weddings to private parties to clubs, raves to you name it. I've DJ'd at it, and I'm very happy to be here, and I'm excited to see what we can all do together as a team.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be an awesome season.
It is.
2017.
21 years.
21 years.
I was 4. I was 4 when you started DJing.
I was 15 when I started DJing, yeah.
Dang.
And I'm 36 now, yeah.
So,
And trade secret too, I actually got my training into the DJ world from a wedding DJ who was like also a club DJ on the side too as well. Yeah, so I was very fortunate to go from weddings to raves to clubs to radios, back to raves, back to clubs, and now back to weddings.
Bring it on home.
Yeah, so we're ready to do this, and I'm excited to really throw down at some great parties this year with you guys.
Me too.
Yeah. Same.
So speaking of which, we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it. So Weddings by Sunnyside is a creative wedding company based out of Santa Rosa, California. And we are basically the face of the company, minus one person who is not here, my husband Chris. He is more so very much behind the scenes. But basically we came to the idea that, like, why are we not doing all of our awesome creative talents together? And how awesome it would be to create more of a family-based company to help couples celebrate their wedding day in a more cohesive
Manner.
Yeah. So Weddings by Sunnyside was birthed, and that sounds weird.
And Weddings by Sunnyside is really, truly a family-run business.
Legitimately family. Brother, sister, engaged, soon-to-be sister-in-law, and my husband, and Randy, he's basically family. Obviously,
family.
looks just
I'm here.
like us.
Because they're adopted.
Yeah, right.
So that is Weddings by Sunnyside. So tonight we're going to be talking about, well, first we're going to start off by talking and being wine snobs and telling you how delicious this Coppola director's cut is.
I was actually really happy for all the outtakes because I've been sipping on my wine this whole time.
It's delicious.
It is really good.
Tasty.
Coppola director's cut.
You stuck your nose up at the Coppola at first.
I did. I know. I was like, let's not drink that tonight. But it's
It's just like
I always
super
forget how good it is.
There's got to be something special about this Coppola wine. This isn't like
Well, it's the director's cut. I mean,
right. It's the unrated version.
I mean, there's like gold foil on the bottle and shit.
So now we're going to talk about the perfect timeline in our experienced opinion.
In
the
no
vlog
way.
is really just a way for us to talk about and give open advice or have conversations with each other about how we think things might be better for other people. Not always like the right thing versus the wrong thing, but just a way to have a conversation about what we've learned and what we've seen over the years that we've been doing this.
Well, because our opinions differ internally too. So.
Yeah,
Exactly.
in no way
So
are
talk
we
about
recommending this should be your timeline, but I
Right.
think collectively, from doing so many weddings together,
Right.
we think this is kind of the one we would go with, and I think we can actually say this is probably the timeline that we followed at our own weddings. At my wedding,
Yeah.
this is definitely a timeline I know
Yeah.
I followed. That,
It's certainly the most popular format for
For
a
sure.
timeline.
right. If I could
Yeah.
recommend one, this is the one I
terms
would
of
definitely
start
recommend.
and finish times and the things that are going to happen during your day. So.
Exactly. So if you're a newly engaged person, or the parent of somebody, or a friend, or whatever the hell you are, and you're looking for advice on where to go and you don't have a wedding planner, or you're just looking for somewhere to start, this is a really great place to start. The perfect day typically starts with getting ready, obviously, because you have to get ready for your day. As a photographer, I don't typically show up to photograph getting ready photos until roughly the last 45 to 30 minutes of the bridal party preparing. That's basically when the best stuff happens. The hair is getting fixed into its final stage, and the last pieces of makeup are going on, and the bride's going to be getting into her dress. So I have enough time to either do dress photographs or details of the rings and other things throughout the room, and just shoot candids of the bridal party hanging out together. And then if you're going to do a first look, the first look typically comes pretty closely after that. You get into the dress, you don't want the bride to be in her dress for too long, and then you just kind of go straight into the first look if you're going to do a first look.
So what time does preps normally start for like an average wedding day? What time would those normally start?
I would say during the summer, you're probably going to be having, at least in California, or on the West Coast, I guess, maybe even the Midwest, I don't know, a 5-ish p.m. wedding ceremony, because the light is at an easier place. It's typically a little cooler, although sometimes in the dead of summer here, it's still crazy hot through like 6 p.m. So 5-ish p.m. getting ready usually starts around 2. That's around the time that I would get there, it'd be around 2 o'clock. And then first looks would typically happen around 3:15, and then we would go straight into bridal party photos right after that. And then you really have, I mean, depending on how big your bridal party is, this is all really subjective. This is mostly based off of a pretty large bridal party, at least 5 people on each side. I like to dedicate at least 15 to 20 minutes photographing both the guys and the girls, and then you do all of the guys and girls together. And then if somebody has ring bearers and flower girls, that also plays into the timeline as well. And then if you're able to knock out like the beginning portions of family photos at that time, that's really helpful. Like parents are there, and this is only if you've done a first look, because then you can obviously all do them together. So ceremony at 5, typically 5.
Right.
And then nowadays people don't really have huge long ceremonies, unless you're getting married in a church or you're having a religious based or faith-based ceremony. Those typically run at least 45 minutes to an hour. And yeah, so nowadays people really get married. I would say I've witnessed 5-minute weddings, wedding ceremonies where I literally was not prepared for that to happen. And
Had
it's
one
like,
2
oh, they're
weeks ago.
kissing.
Yeah, I think
Shit, they're
I
kissing.
did one last week, and it was about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's weird.
Mine was pretty fast too.
Mine was too.
Yeah.
And 2 weekends ago was a record setter. It was like, I think it was 8 minutes long.
It's awesome. I like it.
It's
Just
even.
like,
I mean, that was short. It was nice.
They
It was
shared their
short,
vows,
sweet, beautiful.
quick, efficient poem, and boom, put the rings on and
Yeah.
kiss.
Yeah.
So rough timeline wise, we like to give 30 minutes for the ceremony
I think
to take place.
that's a good way to do it.
At least
yeah.
you're incorporating like bridal party moving and music, and then the bride walking and all of that stuff.
Yeah, some sort of special reading.
Exactly.
You know, the officiant doing some
Yeah.
sort of special speech.
Right.
You know, and
So
then-
30 minutes, and then you're into cocktail hour. Typically, cocktail hour is about an hour. I think that's why they call it cocktail hour. Although I have seen cocktail hours only be like 30 minutes, and you're like, oh, I didn't even have time to have a drink or an
Or
appetizer.
longer.
Yeah, or longer.
Yeah, I
I've also
recommend
been
that.
to
If you're a
weddings
bride
where
and
it's
groom,
longer
hour.
though. No, I
You should-
I think an hour and a
prefer-
half is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So
I think
we've
so too,
seen
but
an
I've
hour,
done 2
an hour and a
hours.
half is kind of like what I like to
Yeah.
do because I
Agreed.
definitely, I like to have the bride and groom come be a part of cocktail
Exactly.
hour
Totally.
and relax and enjoy. But in that first half an hour of cocktail hour, you're either doing pictures or you're off sneaking off a bite to eat.
Yeah, that's something
Right.
we should touch on. Is generally directly after the ceremony,
We
you're
do
going to
family
do
pictures.
family pictures,
Right.
Which take normally, depending on the size of your family, of course, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes 45. I've seen
Yeah.
you go super long if you've got a big family, but hence why you might want a longer cocktail hour, so you can actually have 45 minutes to an hour with your family rather than 15 minutes after
Yeah.
you're done taking
Or
photos. So-
none.
Or none.
I
yeah.
photographed weddings
Yeah.
where the couple literally didn't even get to experience any of the cocktail hour. And it's like, but you're paying so much money
That's
to have
your
this
party.
amazing party, and you're not getting to spend any time with people.
I
which-
love
Go to your
cocktail
cocktail hour. Make
I
sure you
do.
go to your cocktail hour.
Plus, it's like that's the time that you really get to mingle with people before you're like on the dance floor being able
Yeah.
to mingle with people.
yeah.
Or having to walk around tables. And
Exactly.
Right, and they're not like completely hammered yet.
Yeah.
They're still
Yeah.
kind of in that transition phase between we've just arrived
Getting
and,
sauced
Right.
up.
and then we're getting the party mode.
And people are super, like the couple is super jazzed because they just got married. So the other thing I like to try to tie in after the ceremony, if I can and have room within the timeline, is to do portraits with the bride and groom just like for 5 minutes after the wedding ceremony. So the bride and groom would hopefully have prepared the family members that they want in their pictures before the wedding day. Like, hey, by the way, right after the ceremony, you guys are going to be expected to be in family pictures. This is where we're going to meet. Be prepared. Grab a drink or don't. It'll be fast. But I love to be able to sneak off just for like 5 minutes with the bride and groom because that is when like their emotions are just on a high from just like, oh my God, we just tied the knot and we're finally married and this is our day and the smiles are just off the charts. And then you go into family pictures and then hopefully that doesn't take too long. My opinion on family pictures is just like less is more, obviously.
Yeah, my
Knock 'em
face
out.
started to hurt after
just-
about like halfway through my own photos. Like after we
Yeah.
did our photos and then we had the family photos, by like the third set of family members, like I could barely hold that smile.
It starts to
Yeah.
become kind of a fake, or it starts to
Yeah.
become totally a fake
Yeah.
smile. And then
And
you're
it's
working.
kind of, it's like, it's a double-edged sword because you know that you want those pictures with those people from that day, but
Sure.
you also really want to be able to enjoy the actual day. Like, this is it, this is all you get, and it's going to be over before you know it, and why waste 30, 45 minutes standing posed with all of your family members?
Right. Different combination after combination.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
it gets even more challenging when you have really big blended families
Yeah.
and everybody's going to want a picture without somebody in it
Right.
or with these people in it but not those people. And
One with stepdad, one without stepmom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and I think we can save a lot of that for when we do our first look argument because
Yes.
that's also
Totally.
another reason why
Totally.
we would recommend the first look there.
Mhm.
All right. So you come out of
So you come out of cocktail hour.
cocktail hour.
you-
What time is it roughly?
It's
at this point?
roughly 5:30, 6:30.
Yeah.
I would say like
6:30,
6:45ish.
Almost 7. Yeah.
Starting
you're going
like
into-
walking into dinner.
Yeah.
Grand
Maybe doing a
entrance.
grand entrance. Typically people do that. Sometimes with the whole bridal party, sometimes just the bride and groom. I love it when it's just the bride and groom.
Mhm.
Same.
Dinner typically around an hour. I would say the sooner you can start your meal, the better because people at that point are hungry. And yeah, so and then I try not to recommend people doing toasts during dinner unless it's at the last half of dinner.
Absolutely.
I say by the time the last plate of food
Yeah.
is served or the last table serves,
Yeah.
champagne needs to start
Absolutely.
flowing out there.
Agreed. And you're starting toast while people are finishing, while certain people are finishing
Yep,
their meals.
exactly.
And that's a huge
Um,
recommendation. Don't ever do toasts while people don't have food in front of them because if you do toasts and people are sitting around pre-dinner,
Yeah.
your toasts could go too long. People will get upset and irritated and just stop listening. So
Yeah, and then there's side conversations going on, and toasts are a whole other conversation. We could probably talk about that for hours.
Whole episode.
So you're roughly like around 15-20 minutes for toasts, and then you're gonna start the special dances if you're doing them. I typically like to try and advise couples to wait on the first dance until the end of dinner after toasts. Some people are advised from planners, or they have a certain vision in their mind to do first dances, at least the couple's first dance before dinner. I'm never a big fan of it. I feel like it kind of interrupts the flow of the evening, and it completely throws off the starting of the actual dance party later on in the evening. I feel like traditionally that's one of those things that people expect to happen after toasts, and then it doesn't. And I think the whole like beginning of getting the party started and wanting people to be out on the dance floor, that typically happens really well when the couple starts the actual party themselves and and starts that vibe, not only with their first dance, but then if they do special parent dances and all of that.
Well, and it's kind of weird to start after dinner with a dance that's your parents.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend your first dance after dinner and after toast.
Yeah.
Because then it gets everybody up.
Right, and then you welcome everybody. You tell everybody, to stretch and to stand up, say hi to your other tables, and then welcome everybody out to the dance floor. And that's kind of where you're going to be for the rest of the night, at the dance floor.
Yeah.
When you do that and you lead people to the dance floor, especially, we didn't even bring up venues, right? You bring people over to the dance floor, and then, hey, we're going to go back over there, and we're going to have dinner, but we'll see you guys back over here in about 30 minutes. Just a little awkward. So I totally agree with you here.
Once you go to the floor, you stay on the floor.
You are on the floor, especially if I'm DJing.
Yeah.
You don't leave the floor.
You are on the floor.
We'll bring your drinks to you.
Right. Can we toast that?
So after first dances, typically it goes straight into just dancing, at least for a little while, and then sometimes the couple will break away to do cake cutting on their own. Some people
or golden hour if
want it to, or golden hour if it's time to do that. Sometimes I see couples during dinner, like the last part of dinner for golden hour. Kind of just depends where the timeline is falling, and if you're running on time or if you're early.
If you've got a ton of guests,
subjective.
You can definitely sneak away
for sure
and go, because if you think about you're served dinner first, there's 10, 12 tables that you have to wait before toast start. You should definitely enjoy that golden hour and take your photos. And golden hour is really like, those are the pictures that you are most likely going to put on your walls, and that's just never something I ever let a couple say, no, I don't really want portraits. But some people are not really into it. Some people are like, no, we're good with portraits, like we don't really want that many, and they're not really into taking pictures. But I have yet to come across that, mostly because I feel like when you're hiring a wedding photographer, those are a lot of the photos that you see and the ones that you see yourself in, and that's typically why you're hiring that photographer or that videographer. Is that's a lot of the stuff that you, maybe not video, but a little bit, but
it's more of a big scale picture, but
for sure, like a more story. So and then cake cutting, which is better to happen closer to the first dances than too far behind, because a lot of people wait for that to happen before they're like, okay, bye, I've had my cake and now I'm going to peace out because I'm not really into dancing and I don't really want to party that much. Those people that's their cue to be like, okay, we're good to leave.
The night's done.
The night's done. I'm like free to make the decision to go because they've cut the cake. And then you dance for a while, and then further on in the evening, closer to the end of the timeline, or the end of the evening, you're doing bouquet toss, garter toss, if that's your thing, and then a grand entrance or a grand exit at the very end.
So what do you guys think is the perfect time then for a wedding to end? Or what time did your wedding end, I guess?
Chris and I bounced at like 9:30.
At 9:30?
I was pooped. We were going to be done at 10. So it was the perfect time for us to leave anyways, and we did. We said bye to a handful of people, and we were just like, peace. We got our to-go food, which was amazing from our caterer, and we bounced so fast. We were like, bye, we are done.
Out.
And I don't have to clean up anything.
Okay.
What about you? What do you think the perfect ending would be? Time-wise?
Well, my wife Ashley and we stayed until the lights came on.
That's
we
awesome.
were, I think, the last two people on the dance floor. I think the last song was an Eagles song, and we danced to that. The lights came on, and there were a lot of people that had left our wedding, and we were still on the floor partying. We jumped in the limo and went to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
so
what time was that?
it was midnight.
Nice.
It was
That's
midnight.
awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely midnight, and I was craving chicken nuggets. I was like, we want chicken. And by
It's either that or Jack in the Box
Right.
tacos. So.
yeah, and I would have gone for either
Or T-Bell.
Or T-Bell, yeah.
T-Bell.
But we
T-Bell.
stayed and we raged the whole time.
I
at
dig
our
that.
weddings,
I
you
dig
know?
it.
And I would say the one thing is make it a full day. Is the way I see it. It bums me out when I see a lot of places. No offense to the places that we might be working at that do this, but I'm not a huge fan of the turnover weddings.
Yeah.
One in the morning and one in the afternoon. I want this reserved for me all day. It's my day.
Yeah.
I get one of these.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really, really going to enjoy it and make the most of it. And really, to do that, you need a full day from, sun up all the way to sunset and the evening.
Farther,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
completely agree.
when we say getting ready starts at 2, you getting ready doesn't actually start at 2.
Right.
You're probably getting ready
Typically
at
starts at 9.
9 a.m.,
Right.
8 a.m. You're up,
Earlier, yeah.
getting ready. People
You're,
are
you're,
showing
you're
up.
drinking at noon.
Having
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, but what we mean by getting ready and preparations is your final preparations are happening
Right.
happening at
The
2.
touches.
Your final makeup touches, the final bit of your hair. You're putting your dress on. You're putting your suit on. Those things are happening at 2, so you don't have to wear your freaking dress for 18 hours.
Right.
But anyways, from 2 until 10 or midnight, you know,
Right.
it's like I think
That's a full
that's a
day. Damn good wedding,
yeah,
right
and
there.
you'll
Yeah.
have your venue the entire day from
Yeah.
sun up to
Right.
past sundown, and that's I think we're all in agreement on that.
It should be your day. Make it your day. Is,
I
is,
agree.
I think
Yeah,
is what we're trying
totally.
to say.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
There
wow,
you
that was
Great
that episode
chat.
1.
That was
Perfect
it.
timeline.
Perfect timeline. Take it or leave it.
Take it away.
It's all
Thank you guys for
good.
tuning in.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
thank you.
See you next
See
time.
you guys next time.
Cheers.
Thanks for watching Weddings and Shit with Weddings by Sunnyside. As you can tell, we are almost a bottle deep. It was great having you guys here, listening to us talk about bullshit and
Yeah.
weddings and things.
If you have any suggestions or comments or questions or things you want us to talk about, because we're super interesting and you probably want to hear us talk all day, then leave it in the comments.
Or try to subscribe wherever the button is. We'll see you guys later.